Sweet friends. Kenieshiear here. In case you don't know me, many of you may not, depending on how this is coming to you. But we are finally trying to go live with something. We're not literally live right now. Apparently we need to work up to that. That's okay. But we figure time to start. So prayerfully, this will work out well. We'll get it posted and God will bless it and we'll end up wherever it's gonna go. But I figured we'll just start with kind of the backstory, why we are here and what you can expect. And what better than the backdrop of an Airbnb? So you can call me the B&B Princess. You can call me Kenieshiear. You can call me Party in a Box. You can call me whatever it is that makes sense to you. But my name is Kenieshiear, and we are a family that travels full time. What that means, and nope, there's no RVs. People usually ask this question. And we actually stay at a lot of vacation rentals, AKA Airbnbs. Most of the time it is Airbnbs. Rarely it's the other platforms, although we use the other platforms for our business. And with that, it allows us to be able to travel, to learn about different people who do Airbnb or rent out their homes for various reasons, to create relationships. We've been doing this since September, or August of 2019. And here we are, July of 2024, and we are still going strong. It all started with me needing a mommy getaway and going into an Airbnb for the second time. And so a little bit of a backstory. We went in for the first time a few months earlier. We went on a month-long kind of excursion in December, and I found that I didn't even want to come back home. So that grew into me going to an Airbnb by myself and feeling like it was a place I wanted. You thirsty? So as you know, as you can see, we've got plenty of wonderful, sweet living things we are in charge of. This is one of the furry ones. His name is Serenity. We have 5 children. Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All of them, thank the Lord, are sleeping right now. We got in here pretty late. If you will walk with me, I'm gonna get him some water so that he can be okay. But we got here probably about 12:30, unloaded, it's kind of become a bit of a routine, unloaded 2 pack and plays to get our babies down and figured out where everybody was gonna sleep, where they were gonna be the most comfortable. You have water. Where they're the most comfortable. What do you need? And no, there's still food in the bowl. And then got everybody into bed, put all of their music / white noise on. We said when we were coming here that we really wanted to film. And now we get our puppies fed and usually go to the bathroom. And then sometimes we're super tired and we go right to sleep. But since we're really motivated to start this show we're supposed to start, we're gonna record. So hopefully we'll get this on live, or excuse me, not live, but listed on YouTube this evening, and we will see what God does with it. Right now it's just an act of obedience, and I'll give you a little bit of backstory to that. Sometime very recently, I felt very strongly that we were supposed to start our own show. I say show, I'm not even sure what else to call it. We're not sure exactly where it's going to be, how it's going to be distributed. I think it's going to be kind of grassroots, like what you see here, and we're going to let God just grow it. But ultimately, I think the goal is to share our story with others and to encourage, motivate, to bring about our light, the light of Jesus, light of what he's doing in our lives to others. What do you want? What can I do for you? What can I do for you? What is it? What do you want? You gotta show me what you want. What do you want to do? What do you want to do? You want to go back outside? And to be able to essentially live our lives in the open and on display. Children are sleeping. What can I do? What can I do for you? What do you want? You want to go outside? You want to go night? What do you want to do? You want to go outside? So this is a part of living our lives on display, because this is how we go. We've got 5 children and 2 dogs that all have different things that they want to do. Is this where you're trying to go? Now, if we take you outside, that means you cannot be making a bunch of noise. Is it 2 o'clock in the morning. Go potty. So walk with me, I think it'll be too dark out here or not. We'll see. If I stand in the light, it's probably fine.
There's a lot of dogs out here.
So hopefully everybody will behave themselves. We felt like we were supposed to do a show where we were going to, I've been wanting to sit down out here anyway. So hopefully I'm not too backlit out here. But we felt called to do a show. My inspiration was really God, but the visual I got, was something similar to how the Gaineses got started. Now, full disclosure, I've actually never watched a Fixer Upper, and not as familiar with the whole thing. But what I do know is a little bit about their backstory because I stumbled into a networking meeting with I think it was their CFO at the time, some years ago, and he just kind of talked about, a little bit of their beginnings and kind of how things came to be what they are. And I just got this feeling when I was, praying about it that, thinking on that we could do something not the same, but very kind of similar in a different kind of vein, just based on how our lives have kind of gone. In our travels, we have found that a lot of people are very curious, not only about, I'm going to say Airbnb. It's so interesting that's become the term. It's almost becoming, it's become a verb and a thing, and you can say Airbnb but really mean VRBO or just short-term rental in general. That's kind of become the general term, but essentially a short-term rental, mid-term rental, long-term rental, essentially renting real estate. We have found that a lot of people are very interested in that, and then when they hear our story and how we travel, they're more interested in that. Then they hear about our background and the things that are going on with that, and then they're even more interested. And I'm not sure exactly where it's going to go and what's going to happen, but we just got the feeling it was time to start living on display, and allowing people to kind of come into what we have going on and just see what God does with that. So I'm letting him lead even this right now and how we're going with that. And to give you a bit of a background and beginning origin story, if you will, of where we've come from to see where we're going to be headed. I am thankful that the bugs are not bad out here. Because of some circumstances, and also we like to make sure that we talk to our hosts. I'm not going to say exactly where we are, and things like that, because I always like to check with the host before putting anything out there. But we are at an Airbnb right now, kind of en route to go check on some properties where we manage and things like that. And we are doing our routine. We kind of drive a little bit over the way sometimes, and then we sleep, and then we get up the next day and continue our journey. Our background. So we homeschool our children. They travel with us full time. We all travel together. Our dogs travel with us as well. So we definitely try to find those pet-friendly Airbnbs. We haven't gone to the West Coast yet, but we have stayed a lot in the Midwest, some of the Midwest, and some East Coast, and some South. And the way we've been able to do that is through business, really. We say we're kind of doing the ministry and business thing, but really it's business that kind of fuels it, and ministry, which is, kind of the main thing that we're interested in doing. It's kind of neat, but the business part of it is kind of what is driving it forward. So that could mean, developing clients in various areas, developing relationships with hosts, looking at potential properties. Another thing I got into doing was training potential hosts, or training people interested in getting into renting out a home, whether it's one they own, or if they were going to do arbitrage, or if they were going to just manage for someone. There's so many different options. It's one of the things I love about this whole kind of industry, if you want to call it that, is that there's the entry in it. There's so many ways that anyone can kind of gain entry. And the entry, it's like a low point. You don't really need a whole lot of investment to get involved, which I think is such a blessing. But the return, depending on how committed and how deep you go into it, could be really high. if you align the things up correct. You will, as you get to know me, you know that I will never, like, I don't think money should ever be a reason that someone can't do something. I know that's maybe a very silly thing to hear, but as you get to know me, we'll talk more and more about that. But I feel like, you know, with the lack of, let's say, resources, or at least money, let's say people will say, you know, I can't do it because it's too expensive, or I can't do it because I can't afford it. And to me, that personal, you know, opinion, you don't have to agree with me, but in my opinion, in my experience, that saying that already just, you know, it's like sitting out of the game and saying, I'm not even going to play. So you never know what's capable. And just to give you an example, you know, I might not be able to go out and buy the property I want, but I might tomorrow run into somebody who is an investor who they just want to be a silent partner, but they want to, you know, have the returns instead of, like, literally have mailbox money. I bring my experience, and because of my experience, we've set up a deal where, you know, I have a return on property that I don't have to actually invest any actual cash flow in, but I actually, you know, get a return because of the skill level or the experience or the network that I bring. So there are various ways that you can create a deal flow. You can create cash flow just based on what you bring to the table. There's some people who are money people, and there's other people who can be network people. There's other people who can be experienced people. You've heard sweat equity before. A lot of times that can also funnel that in, but really the beginning part of that is not sitting out of the game before you even see what the situation looks like. So didn't know I was going to go that route, but I hear a lot of people think that they don't have accessibility to something or can't do something because they feel like they don't have the money to do it. And I am someone who has done very miraculous things that I should not have been able to do because I was willing to be creative, and I was, you know, didn't take no for an answer, and didn't look at what it looked like from the surface, and allowed myself to talk myself out of things. Now that doesn't mean it always, you know, is going to work out the way I think it does, but I will say being positive and being open to things working out, and even being open to being creative or allowing for creative solutions has really worked for me. These are all separate stories. I can go in another time depending on how this is structured. When I say this show, whatever you want to call this, we've kind of been calling it a show, and for months we've been talking about doing something. I really hope we're able to get this posted so we can get things started, because I feel like I'm not being obedient, and I'm praying my dogs are not eating things they shouldn't be eating out here. But the weather is wonderful and the bugs are not biting, so that is a good day. So that's a little bit about me, a little bit of a snippet of how you can expect my personality. I'm all about all the things. I don't think we should ever limiting beliefs, all of that, scarcity thinking and mindset. I am, you know, along the lines of, you know, really having faith and believing and having a positive attitude can literally move mountains. Jesus even said so, and I've seen it happen, and I'm excited to see it again. This is me stepping out in faith, so it'll be neat to see what happens by this. Now, we're planning on, I think, rolling this out on different areas, and it might be a little bit confusing to you. The first bit of content I started rolling out was a podcast called Opting Out. We're still not sure how to structure all of these things, but I feel like it's still all related. Opting out is kind of where a lot of this even started, even putting myself out there and talking about anything, because I had that thought process of who wants to hear anything I have to say. You know, we all have that childhood story, that teacher story. Well, I was told that I talked too much, and so that, you know, definitely getting over that hump was really important. Now, my faith in God has been very strong. My faith in Jesus has really been there for me, and God has really helped me. So it's made my story is going to probably be different than other people's story, but the root is still the same. You know, those negative things that we hear that hurts us, you know, oftentimes, you know, we do need to overcome that, to overcome it. So, sorry, I'm looking over because I see my dog checking some things out. Come here. Come on. I think it's time for you guys to go night-night. So if you want to join me, my friends, we're going to put these guys for night-night, and we're going to come back, or you can stay here. It's up to you. I'm going to... Come on, guys. light, I think, here. We don't have the blankets. We have a blanket in here.
Yes.
Oh, we do. Well, let's get that. So, our puppies, which they look like puppies, but they're not puppies. When it's night time, we kind of treat them like birds, helps them to relax. And know that it's bedtime. Good night, sweet boys. I love you. Okay. All right. So now all our fur babies and baby babies are in bed. And I think we're past 2 o'clock. How long have we been filming?
For 16 minutes.
16 minutes. Okay, that's not too bad. Okay, so prayerful about, where to go next with this, but essentially this is kind of the beginning. More to come. I think we're going to spend a lot of the show maybe showing some of the things we've done over the years. We do have a bit of content sliced in and out, but we're going to let God lead. But really the goal, the point is to motivate, inspire, encourage. God, I feel like from what we've heard, there are a lot of people who hear our story and it does something in them. I want to do that. And I feel that way because they're supposed to do that. And so if we're out there saying we're doing this in this circumstances, and if we can do it, you can do it. If you feel like you're supposed to do it, then we feel like you're supposed to do it. And it's just a matter of when, how, and finding the confidence and the support network to do it. So we want to build and create a support network for people who want to do what the world might call crazy. We've done it, we're doing it, and I believe that there's going to be a world of people that are going to be doing this, because what can we do if we're sitting at home? I mean, there's things you can do at home, but I believe, and I've seen from just being out and about, because I used to sit at home. I was a stay-at-home mom, which was wonderful, and God just called me to more. And he says, you can still be a stay-at-home mom, but who says you can't be a stay-at-home mom in other people's homes? Or a stay-at-home mom while you're on the go in other people's homes? So, taught me not to get used to what I think things will look like, and to be able to think kind of outside of the box so that I leave things open for what's possible. So, our story. So we travel full-time. We don't have an RV. We actually travel in an SUV. We have 5 children, ages 10, 9, 7, 3, 1. We have two small dogs. You guys saw them. We travel full time, so we homeschool our children. They've been doing very well with that. We stay when we're on the go. We actually stay in Airbnbs or short-term rentals full time. I mean, we've been there months at a time. We've been in certain states and areas months at a time. The way we support that, or to be able to do that, is via property management. I manage various Airbnbs. I also train and teach people, and let me, say this a different way. I'm going to say short-term rental and Airbnbs, vacation rentals interchangeably. Essentially, it's real estate that you're renting out, that you're not living in yourself, or at least not only living in yourself. There are times where you can live in it and still rent it out to other people actively. There's ways to do it, so many different ways, and I'm not going to, I'll go into that another time. But ultimately, we stayed in a lot of these vacation rentals, short-term rentals, sometimes a month at a time, sometimes weeks at a time. We've stayed in multiple areas for 6 months at a time. We've bought real estate. We have set up real estate to rent out. We have bought real estate and had it fall through. We've learned about, a lot of that process of buying across a couple of different states. We're still learning that. How do you invest? Learning about, the market, the real estate market, and how it's shifting and changing, and how do you buy in a market that it is right now and still have it be profitable? What are you looking at? There's a lot of stuff out there. I don't really follow a lot of it. Maybe I should. I don't know. It's something that's still very prayerful. My way of doing it is very instinct, really more like Holy Spirit, God driven, and it has worked for me. and people I talk to who have shown interest in it, I've shared with them, and it's been able to encourage them and help them in various ways as well. So we feel like this show is supposed to just allow you to kind of see the day-to-day of what we're doing and how we do it and what's going on. Maybe there'll be times where I sit like this and we just kind of have this chat. Other times, hopefully, we can have a external camera person that kind of follows along as we do our day-to-day. A lot of times it's building relationships with new people, with new hosts. We were at Airbnb for the last couple of days, and before that we were house sitting. So everything takes, but each of those still flows into what I do, property manager, and as well as teaching people how to post and manage, as well as what my partner does, which is to do a lot of marketing and real estate, photography and content generation for various clients. And a lot of that helps us to do the travel thing. And we have found a lot of people are very interested in figuring out how they can create their thing so that they can travel, buy property, reach their goals, buy the jet, or whatever it is they're supposed to do. So I'm prayerful. I'm actually going to open this up to my cameraman and amazing partner. Do you have anything that you want to add? Anything that you feel like I should mention?
I think as we travel and as we go places, having kind of like, I want to say immersive, almost an immersive journey where, we've just walked into this place, we're getting it set up. I really wanted to get footage of you like setting up the beds and us shaking out the covers because we've found certain things before, and just like the whole experience.
That's a good point. Yeah, so because just tips and things you learn the hard way. Just even say we were staying at one of our own properties, and one of our children was bit by a spider in that bed. And I think it was brown recluse too. And by the grace of God, we were able to manage it, and it healed wonderfully. But based on that, it's like, okay, yes, we should always check the beds. We should always shake them out, because spiders, especially if it's been a day or two or a week or whichever. With the weather and things like that, they get into the beds and sheets. And it's not. And so we came here today and we saw one, thank God for that, in one of the beds. And so I'm like, we need to shake all the beds out. And so tips and things, right, when you go into a place, as well. And that's not something you can really help, as a host, right? And as a guest, it's something that you can just do to ensure a hiccup-free stay, at least a little bit. But that's a good point. I would really like to figure out how to do that kind of day in the life, being followed, kind of to see what it's like when we enter in a place, because it really is a very interesting way that we do that, especially coming in late, or being in the car, and we're trying to stay up. It's 1 o'clock or 12 o'clock. We're close in. I think these Airbnbs a lot of times or vacation rentals, but actually it is specifically Airbnb in this case, because as far as I understand, I think Booking.com does, but I have not gotten super well versed in that yet. But Airbnb, you can book same day, within hours up to about noon, or not noon, midnight, for some that have theirs listed like that. And that's been amazing for us, because we don't plan very far ahead, really. So we don't really know often where we're going to be, and so oftentimes it really suits us to be able to make these plans last minute. So they get a lot of our business because of that. And I think I've heard Booking.com does it, so I probably should look into that too, that part of it. And I know I need to be doing it anyway, for my clients. What else?
Other than the immersive kind of day in the lifestyle, maybe we start there, and then we can rope some of that just as a play-by-play or B-roll or something rope some of that into the class content to where
Yes,
you know
I
you're
never talked
educating
about that.
people who either are hosts and you know they're really looking to up their game, or they're new to it all and probably don't even know the vocabulary, like what even is a turnover, you know, these basics.
And that can make a big difference. I mean, I have, you know, and everybody uses different lingo in different places. You know, I'll say, oh, you know, it's a turn. Well, in certain places that literally means same day turnaround, and I'm thinking it just means it needs to be cleaned. So I be careful what I say, and that I'm using the right language with the right person, because each one has it kind of a little bit different. That's a good point. And the thing is, I mean, this is why it really is helpful, and probably need to document these things. It might be helpful to even have our VA go through this and document, or I go back through it and document things that are, you know, learning opportunities that we can, because I don't realize it until I'm actively doing it. You know, we have info sessions. You guys can check those out. An hour above and beyond hosting YouTube channel. This is where it gets a little bit, I think I'm going to put this on all the channels that we have. I think that's not weird to do that, at least on opting out and on this one, because it's kind of a spin-off of opting out. Opting out is kind of where it all began, you know, except this is just kind of more focused towards kind of how we're doing our things. Because the thing is there's also a ministry involved, but that's not necessary. I mean, I don't know, actually, because our show is supposed to be all the things. So I don't even know what it's going to be. So we're going to just say, here, Lord, you know, I'm here, I'm doing this, help us do it. We'll do it. We'll see what happens. And then we can kind of, you know, see where we're at a year from now. How awesome would it be if it's just boom, you know? So, you know, it's possible, and he can do that. So I just pray that he would make it what he wants to make it, to glorify him and grow his kingdom and bring his light and love to everybody, so everybody really knows what he's like, who he is, you know, through my interactions or the interactions of others. Actually, there is a podcast that I did called Bad Press, Hot Mess, that talks about the bad press that Jesus, you know, and God, you know, the Holy Spirit, that he has gotten because of certain things. And that was definitely God inspired, and I have not listened to it in a long time. I don't know if I've ever really listened to it. I let God do everything for me. He is my everything. I am his princess, and it works out. And all I need to do is just go and love on everybody and do what he says, and relate the information that I have. And I'm so glad to do that. So for those of you who are new, wonderful to have you. I invite you to check out Opting Out, especially early on as we're trying to put content out here, because we're still trying to figure it all out. But there's some pretty good stuff on there, and Opting Out is really towards real, you know what, it really is a good place to start, because it talks about stepping out of kind of what's normal, what's considered normal, what's comfortable, and taking that challenge and that encouragement to do something crazy, what the world would call crazy. You okay over there? Fall asleep on me? Okay. Well, on that note, I think we're gonna shut it down for this evening. I really pray this is encouraging, and connect with us. Let us know how we can serve you, how we can help you. It is my passion to see as many people as possible really get into that amazing, extraordinary place that they're meant to be in, so that we all kind of leave that legacy in this world, whatever that looks like, while we're here. So, cheers to you and blessings to all of you, and we will see you next time.